What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can see behind me, we've got my 2002 Acura RSX up on jack stands, and today I'm going to show you guys how to replace an oxygen sensor. So a few days ago, my check engine light came on randomly. I was on the highway and went to AutoZone. They scanned it, and it was a P0420 code, which is a catalyst system. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how to replace an oxygen sensor on the Honda Acura. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, quick story time. About a week ago, I was driving down the highway and all of a sudden my check engine light came on. Went to AutoZone that same night and they went ahead and did the scan, and this is what they're coming up with. P0420, which is catalyst system efficiency below threshold, bank 1. This can mean a number of things. It can mean a catalytic converter, it can mean an oxygen sensor, fuel injectors. I mean, there's all kinds of videos out there on this OBD2 code right here. So I think I've had this code about 2 years ago, and I replaced the oxygen sensor and it fixed it. So fingers crossed that's the situation today. All right, for the tools and materials needed for an oxygen sensor replacement, went ahead and used a 1/2 inch torque wrench, 1/2 inch breaker bar, 1/2 inch ratchet, 1/2 inch special socket for an oxygen sensor. As you can see right there is a slit right there. 10mm wrench, pliers, your new oxygen sensor, and the anti-seize components. A flashlight would help also. All right, so I've already went ahead and popped the hood, took my 10mm wrench and disconnected the battery. And then basically once we replace this oxygen sensor, I'll go ahead and hook up the battery, restart the car, and that'll basically restart the ECU. So let's go underneath the car and check out what's going on. All right, guys, so I'm underneath the car. It's tight clearances, so I apologize about this. But anyways, here's your catalytic converter. The oxygen sensor we're going to be concentrating on is basically a downstream, and that's basically the second oxygen sensor, and that's closest to the exhaust muffler back there. This is basically your upstream oxygen sensor that's closest to the exhaust header. This one usually doesn't go bad. It's usually the downstream one, so this is one we're going to be focusing on. So what I need to do is go ahead and get my socket, and we're going to slip this onto the oxygen sensor. We're going to pop this loose, and then we need to go ahead and take the wiring harness loose from the chassis of the car. So it looks like there's a connector right there, a connector right there, and then up into here we got the wiring harness connector, which we need to disconnect. So once we disconnect the wiring harness, we'll go ahead and trace it back with this connector and this connector, and then I'll go ahead and take my socket and pop this old one off. So let me go ahead and take care of that right here. Okay, went ahead and got the old oxygen sensor out. That's the one with the green wire right here. So do a side-by-side comparison on the new one versus the old one. Okay, doing a side-by-side comparison, this is the new Denso oxygen sensor, and I'm not sure what brand this is, but as you can see with the Denso, this is actually a larger diameter tip. The holes look bigger. As you can see, the holes are very smaller, and this is a smaller diameter tip right here on this brand. I'm not sure what brand this is. Let's take a look at the connectors. Okay, so there's a side-by-side comparison. Left-hand side is the old oxygen sensor, right side is the new Denso. Those connectors look to be exact. Now, the only differentiating fact on the new oxygen sensor versus the old one is the wire colors. I see some blue, black, and white, and on the old one, we got some white and blacks right here. So I'm not sure if that's gonna make a difference, but the connector's the same, threads are the same, and this is a larger body right here on the tip. So let's go ahead and prep the oxygen sensor to get reinstalled in the car. So what you want to do is go ahead and cut open this anti-seize component right here, and what you're going to do is you're going to spread this anti-seize paste on the threads right there. Now, if you don't use this paste on the threads of your oxygen sensor and you go to replace an oxygen sensor 20-30,000 miles down the road, you'll never be able to get it out of the catalytic converter because it'll basically just seize itself in there. So go ahead and make sure you put this paste on the threads right there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare this new oxygen sensor to get threaded into the catalytic converter. Let's go ahead and do this. Alrighty guys, new oxygen sensor is installed on the catalytic converter. Went ahead and put that wire clip on the chassis right there, and I utilized the rubber from the original oxygen sensor onto there. And then going back, wires in the plastic clip that's on the factory as well. Went ahead, plugged in the harness. Now this is a Denso sensor. They gave you some extra slack, so I did my best in order to tie strap the slack and tuck it in with the fuel lines. So hopefully that's going to be secure, but I mean, it is what it is. But you know, I looked up Acura RSX Type S, and Denso gave me the exact part number, and this is what they said to use. So I don't know why they gave me an extra 6 inches of slack, but it's better to have extra slack than it is to be short. So anyways, oxygen sensor is now installed on the underside of the car. So I'm going to go ahead, take it from the jack stands, plug the battery back in, and then we'll go ahead and start the car up and cross our fingers that the check engine light goes away. Wish me luck, guys. Alrighty guys, we just got done replacing the downstream oxygen sensor, and basically this is our printout of our check engine light code P0420. So we're going to go ahead, start the car up, keep our fingers crossed that no check engine light comes on. I went ahead and connected the battery, so the ECU should be reset by now. So let's go ahead, give this key a turn, and see if we got check engine light. Actually, it'll actually pop up right here on the bottom left. So fingers crossed. Pull this thing out of gear. Let's go ahead and start her up. All right, great news so far, guys. Got this car up to operating temperature. As you can see right there, the gauge almost in the center, and right there in the lower left, there's no check engine light. So fingers crossed, we're in the clear. I don't want to jinx myself, so I think we're good. So that's great news. So this P0420 code turned out to be the downstream oxygen sensor. Alrighty guys, that wraps up the replacement of the downstream oxygen sensor on the 2002 Acura RSX. Now I believe I was in the clear with the check engine light code, the P0420. I drove the car for about maybe 5 times or 125 miles. No check engine light came on. However, last night I was driving home from the gym, and sure enough, right in the lower part of the dashboard, check engine light just pops up. So I believe I've got a bad catalytic converter. So without further ado, I ordered a new catalytic converter. I'm going to show you guys how to replace the catalytic converter on your Honda and Acura when that thing arrives. And just a little FYI on the part replacement cost, I paid $70 for the downstream oxygen sensor. And I hope you guys can stay tuned next time as I replace the catalytic converter on this 2002 Acura RSX, and I'll show you all the steps involved. And if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.